Hey everybody, long time no see, about 20 minutes since I was on Obnoxious and Anonymous with Cameron, but this is a little bit of a different show, different tone, a different guest host. This time I'm the host, and my guest is someone who's been on the channel before, but hasn't been on in a while, Danielle Jackson,
Hey
DJ.
guys,
Does anybody
that's
call you?
me. Yeah,
People call you DJ?
yeah, my best friend Caitlin. That's what she always calls me.
DJ. Yeah, you're totally a DJ.
DJ.
Do you like
Reminds me of
DJ?
Full House.
Yeah, I know.
Deej.
Deej. Deej. Do you like that nickname?
I do. I do. I'm a fan.
Okay. All right, Deej.
Deej.
All right. So we're gonna. It's late for me. It's sort of getting to be late for you.
Yeah, but you know what? It's holiday time.
Yeah, it's
We're
now.
ready.
It's officially Thanksgiving for me. It's officially
That's true.
So happy Thanksgiving, everyone, on the East Coast.
Turkey Day.
And you guys are still a little bit behind
Or
me.
Turkey Day Eve.
What time is it where you are? What time?
10:31.
What year is it?
Who knows?
You can only do that on New Year's. That's the only time.
Just go out like Cooper on New Year's Eve and be like, "What year is it?" to everyone you meet.
And cause massive traffic in my area. What? Yeah, I'd be in jail in like within the half hour. All right. So some people might know what this video is about, obviously from the headline. But I felt like this is going to be a cool video to do. And everybody in the chat, feel free to just spew anything you want. We'll talk about it. So this is going to be our wish list for season 4. Or, it could be our wish list for what we want to see next altogether. So I know you have one person in mind. I know you have one person in mind. We both have the same person in mind. You want to tell them what it is?
Yep. Chet Desmond, my boy Chet. I want to know what happened to him.
I
want to know so bad.
I think we could do Chet Desmond. I'd want to see Chet Desmond. So
yes.
I do want to see Sam Stanley too, but I feel like Kiefer Sutherland is not going to have the same sort of, I don't know, neurotic edge that he did.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be as quirky anymore.
He's Jack Bauer now. He's not Sam Stanley. Yeah. That's how I see him anyway.
Yep. I think most people would.
So if you see Desmond coming back, if he let's say we get some kind of word, which we never probably would, that Desmond is coming back, in what capacity would you want to see him?
I kind of have a gut feeling that he would be like a Jeffries kind of thing, but not quite as far gone as Jeffries would be. Maybe he's not quite a teapot, but he's still kind of between timelines and displaced. I think that's where he would be.
Cameron says, if we have time to sweep, we have time for Chet.
Yes.
Absolutely. We could have had a name.
That would have been nice. We got him, like, didn't they say his name just once throughout the whole return? When they were just barely talking about the forming of Blue Rose.
I believe
so. And I think that's the only time they even said his name.
So he's still in their thoughts.
Yeah,
in this new return world.
Where is he?
George is saying Sam died of alcoholism, according to the Frost books. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Never mind. I forgot about that. But yeah, where's Chet? Where in the world is Chet Desmond?
And I think I was reading Secret History recently, and it said there was still a Blue Rose case open from the 80s. I can't remember what it said, but I was wondering if it was still Chet Desmond's case that Tammy was referring to, that is still an open case.
Maybe.
I wish I had my notes here with me. I'm at my mom's, or I'd go read them.
You don't have your bookhouse boy.
I don't have my bookhouse boys.
Whereas I was gonna pull out my bookhouse boy notebook that I bought that I haven't written anything in.
That's so fun. I want one.
That's something we could talk about in Friday's show.
Yeah.
George says, I don't know. I think Chet is deader than Richard Horn, and I would love to see Chet, but many who go through the lodge, if Chet did go, which is most likely, they're never the same person. Oh, they're not going to be the same person. I just want to see Chet. I want to know.
Yeah, I just want some finality.
I mean,
which we don't get too much with the series.
Yeah, for a lot.
I don't know. I'm not expecting it at this point.
They didn't say Wyndham Earl, so at least Chet got a mention, says Cameron.
This
is true. Wyndham Earl's dead to everyone.
I could do with less Wyndham Earl.
I mean, love him as a creepo villain, but I don't know.
Yeah,
he's playing chess somewhere.
Yeah, he is. He's off playing chess. We'll just let him do his thing.
I mean, Leo died because he just has a whole bunch of bad voodoo, juju, karma, whatever you want to call it. But you know, it's still, I guess it's still kind of open. I don't know. I think Chet Desmond is just another mystery. I don't know if we'll ever see Chet.
No, with that recent interview that Mark Frost gave talking about Chet Desmond, it didn't seem like he was too interested in pursuing Chet Desmond again. I wonder if he knows what a fan favorite Chet Desmond is, because he really has become one. And I wonder if he knew like how much we all love Chet Desmond, if maybe he would delve into it some more, but someone needs to tell him. There's
a whole like sort of noir detective angle they could go with. He just had that air about him that's sort of like maybe like behind a desk, like not that, like that cartoony and animated, but he was sort of just like kind of suave.
Yeah, he was just cool.
Yeah, he was cool. That's probably what the best word. He was a cool guy, and he knew stuff. We don't know the extent of his knowledge, but
and he's one of the founding members of the Blue Rose, so you know that he must be pretty awesome and have so much knowledge for him to be a founding member of that.
Exactly. There's some weight there. He's done. There's something there. He has a past. He's done something to deserve that Blue Rose recognition from Cole and Albert and Jeffries. So what is that?
I want to know. Even if we just get like a little background from Mark Frost or something, I would love that.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be cool is if we got like a like the beginnings of the Blue Rose kind of thing, like
Blue Rose
in some kind of book or like prequel kind of thing. I would love that.
I mean, Mark Frost could definitely do like early dossiers or something from isolated.
That would be so fun.
But,
I would dig it.
I mean, I want anything at this point.
Yeah, Mark Frost could just give me anything, and I would be like, "Yep, I love it. It's great. Give me more."
Cameron says Frost doesn't like Chet because it retcons Frost's book about Cooper investigating Banks' murder. I mean, it's just he's like this just open-ended thing there. They might never deal with him. It might be up to us.
We'll just make up our own explanations.
Firewalk with me, or Let's Rock.
Yes.
But I mean, he did find the ring under the Chalfonts Tremonds trailer, which, as we know, kind of ties into the ending of the finale where the Chalfonts live in Laura Palmer's house. So there's little connections. There's things they could do there, especially if we, in season 4, we pick up where, season 3 left off.
It'd be interesting to see if they would pick up where they left off, or if they'd go in a completely different direction.
And George is saying, I'd love to see more explorations of the Chalfonts and Tremonds. Now that was my point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are one and the same. They're the same. I want to know what the deal with the last names are, but
Yes.
they're probably one of the big. I mean, especially after that finale, I definitely want to know more about that family. We knew there was something about them before this, but now with them living in Laura Palmer's house, and we know Granny Tremond or Chalfont gave Laura the painting or the photograph of the convenience store. Now we know. It seems like there's this whole like mystery, like behind the mystery involving the Chalfonts, and they have some sort of deeper involvement than we understand.
I know. I want to know what their story is. Are they like the royal family of the Black Lodge, or what is going on?
I mean,
I want to know.
I'm wondering if we got some sort of hint or anything in Secret History. I want to say no, and if we did, I don't remember. But I don't know. I think they're probably the most interesting thing, sort of on the table still, because we might not see Chet, unfortunately, but the series ended with a Chalfont.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
So
I want to know more.
I don't think we're talking about Chalfonts and Tremonds enough.
No, there's so much I would like to know.
Like, I'm trying to think of all the moments where we see something, the name, or we hear the name, or we see Mrs. Tremond in action. But I don't know how much is there, like, for us to actually go into. Mm-hmm. We just have what we have, and there's not really much information. We know there was 2 Chalfonts that lived in that trailer, I believe. Mm-hmm. That's what Carl Rod says, 2 Chalfonts. And then the trailer looks like it was lifted out of the spot in Fire Walk with Me, because there's no, as far as I remember, there's no like track marks going out.
No, it's just like it came out of nowhere. It just went away.
So I was wondering where that thing is also.
Do they just have like a Black Lodge trailer park?
I mean, is it like the convenience store that it could just disappear? Also, where the hell is the convenience store, like a TARDIS kind of thing, or can it just go where it won't? There's like these things I haven't talked about yet.
Out of thin air, it seems like, and only certain people can see it, and it's a lot bigger than we ever thought. And
yeah, and also the Running Man that had Sarah's face, but Sarah's Judy, like. Is the original Sarah in The Running Man, and like Judy's occupying?
Whoa!
I don't know.
Like who is who?
I don't know. And we know, well, in the secret, the final dossier, we know Sarah kind of became like a recluse, like alcoholic.
Yeah.
But.
And we know that she had the insect or whatever get into her when she was a young age. Like, we know for sure now. And I wonder, like, how long that lay dormant in her, or how much of her life that it was active inside.
Is the Jumping Man the insect?
Ooh.
Because they have that note, like, the insect has that, like, needle nose, and the Jumping Man has that pointy. I didn't think about that. It might not be connected, but it might be. I'm not taking anything off the table.
That would make sense, I feel like.
Let me go through the chat for a second.
Because we have like the smile, like inside her face, you have the smiling Lara teeth, but then you also have the Jumping Man nose. But also could be an insect thing, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the jump, and also the monkey that says Judy had the mask on it. But that, again, that could be like David Lynch.
Sarah Sutherland said that was not right. In her Reddit AMA, she said, like, someone brought that up, and she's like, yeah, that was just a mistake for the monkey saying Judy in the subtitles.
I didn't remember that. You know, it's possible. It's possible. We know it's possible to make a mistake. Let's see. Norman says, well, there was a real Mrs. Tremond who Donna never met until she and Cooper meet her. One of my favorite eerie scenes is when Cooper and Donna interview the real one. That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Could the trailer have disappeared with the Chet ring? I mean,
it could be that they're both connected because they're both parts of connected to the Black Lodge.
It's possible that, I mean, I doubt if I look back at the scenes of the convenience store and maybe in a corner somewhere there's a trail. I don't think that's kind of thing, but we know the void, the vortexes. And one of them can lead to the convenience store, so maybe that's what happened. That's using the context of season 3, though. So I don't know. It makes sense with that context that something would just be pulled out of place. But before that, I wonder what the idea was behind that, if there was one. Maybe David Lynch just thought it was cool to pull a trailer out of place and leave it.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Hey, that's cool."
Yeah, let's.
Hey, Michael Horse, wear these oven mittens.
I love that. Fine. I just want to see where. I really hope that's a true story. I
hope so too.
George says, "I thought the convenience store was in that one spot." Isn't there in season 3? Isn't there a scene where it disappears though? I'm pretty sure I didn't imagine.
Yeah.
Kai says, "Who is the woman above the convenience store that opened up the door for Bad Coop?" That's another good question.
Yeah.
Some kind of gatekeeper. I don't know. And some people were saying it looked like it was a dude dressed in drag, which I think it was, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait for the Blu-ray to determine.
Yeah, that crisp image.
Yeah, that's coming out very soon too.
So soon, Christmas time.
Let's see. People are saying the jumping man is just the man that jumps.
Yeah, that's just all he does.
I mean, jumps. Electricity, whatever, animal life. That's just his purpose. I don't know. There's the things are with the context of season 3. A lot of things have changed into the new ideas that Twin Peaks season 3, the return, the limited series event, season just so many new ideas and trains of thought that could be you could just sort of latch onto and
it's changed a lot of things.
I mean, in a way, season 1, I mean, everything that we saw in the original isn't real anymore. It's all
changed now. Everything we thought we knew is different.
It's a whole new time. It's right at this point, it's a paradox. But it seems like they're going by the back to the future kind of idea of time travel, where things, if you change the past, things slowly erase and change, like it catches up to you. Which that's not a way I thought they were going. I thought they were doing separate timelines.
Yeah,
and they might still be, but from the book, from Final Dossier, it seems like it's a little more linear. Time-wise than I thought, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Slowly forgetting.
Yeah, it's like Back to the Future. Like the pictures are going to start fading.
Yeah. And enough so that Tammy is still remembering, but everyone else is forgetting, which is so curious to me. How she is still remembering, but everyone else is forgetting.
I mean, I think it's just sort of. I think they're hinting at just a testament to what Tammy's brain can do.
It's true.
I mean, she's just maybe less affected by it, but also she's directly involved.
Maybe
I don't know.
She's aware of all these paranormal activities that she can. Her brain is more.
I guess the perception of it sort of can slow it down, but also Gordon. I believe Jeffrey said Gordon will remember too, so that's important. And he says it, and. I mean, the season ends soon after that, so Gordon will remember it's just this thing hanging in the air.
And I wonder how much of like I've always wondered about Gordon's hearing loss and if he's like if maybe he's lost certain hearing, but he also is in tune to other frequencies. So maybe because of that, he's in tune to these things changing and remembering and hearing things beyond. And
you might be onto something there. It's just like Daredevil, like sort of a heightened other sense.
Yes.
But the sense is sort of metaphysical.
That's another thing I would like for my season 4 wish list is finding out how Gordon lost his hearing. I'd like that.
It would be cool to see it sort of happen, almost not directly happen to Gordon. Like he doesn't tell you directly, but you see something that happens to someone else in a situation, and they start losing their hearing, and you're like, maybe that's how it happened. Because I don't know if I want him to flat out give it away.
Yeah. But just
it would
have
be cool to be like,
little inklings that help us kind of connect the dots.
Like maybe being sucked through a void or sucked through, like something happens sort of on one of those surreal levels that like somebody loses their hearing and you're like, oh, maybe that's how it happened.
Yes.
Maybe, but if I'm forgetting like a detail or something like that is explained in the show, then please share. But I don't think he says anything about it. Because you hear Shelley fine. What is that?
Yeah. And I think he says, what does he say? He says, I can't remember his quote. Like,
I just watched that.
How to tell you this sometime, or long story.
Yeah, long story.
Yeah, long story.
See, that would be a good thing to dive into. George says, is the jumping man the male equivalent of Judy, Baal, or whatever? I think the jumping man is almost like I don't want to say a spy, but some kind of lackey.
I think so know. Too. I can see him being a little lackey. I think that's a good way to explain it.
He's like almost he's too feral-ish.
He's beastly and wild.
Like
when Cooper comes to the convenience store, he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, he like it's like almost like in a picnic.
Yeah, he's like, bye.
So I don't think he's like some kind of crazy evil, but I think he has a role.
I don't think he's completely driven and commanded by Judy. I think he's in his own way, his own entity, but maybe he's also in cahoots with Judy.
I mean,
use the word cahoots real quick.
I just want to know where he was running to. Yeah. Where it was running to, especially with Sarah's face.
I would like to know where he went.
There's parts of me that wants to just dive into it and start theorizing, but then there's parts where it's like David Lynch probably just put it in there. He might not know what it is.
Like, oh, this sounds fun.
Let's have the jumping man running downstairs with Sarah's face.
That'll confuse the hell out of him.
Mentine Coma says, I think the fact that some version of lore exists at the same time that Sarah turns into Judy means Carrie Page is the negative version of the Moonchild. That's a good theory that ties in with the Crowley stuff. I mean, it's possible. I didn't think of that.
I can see that.
I actually haven't read Moonchild yet, so I know about Moonchild. I don't know too much about Moonchild, but I have it on my bookshelf. Yeah. I can actually see it from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it, but I'd like to read so much more about it and read it in actuality.
Yeah, and I've heard the reviews are funny because they knock Crowley for having bad grammar and sentence structure, but he's just trying to get this idea across.
Yeah.
George says Gordon definitely has a higher frequency, especially after what happened at the abandoned junkyard place in part 11. Oh yeah, he has access to something. I don't know what he
does. He can hear beyond what everyone else can hear.
I just want to know what if he wears those all the time to almost drown things out rather than actually listen. Because I feel like maybe This is just an idea that's maybe he wears them to like block things out rather than listen.
That could very well be it.
Huh.
I would like to know.
You can hear Shelly.
Yeah, you can hear Shelly.
That's all we know. You could hear.
Without what's so special about Shelly that makes him able to hear her? What is going on with her voice that makes him able to hear her frequency more than anyone else? Is it just David Lynch wanting to kiss Madchen a Mick, or is it really something about Shelley?
It's probably part of that. Who are we kidding to say he doesn't? But I think he wants people to know that there's something about Shelley. Yeah.
Shelley is my favorite of the female Twin Peaks ladies.
Act together, though.
I know. I want her to get her act together. Go be with Bobby.
She doesn't even have to be with Bobby.
No,
stop dating the
Stop dating losers. Little drug dealing jerks.
Magician.
Yeah.
Drug dealing jerks.
Drug dealer.
Magic. Cameron says her jumping on the car was supernatural. With her red shoes.
Yep.
Not in Kansas anymore, Shelly. George says he definitely has hearing issues, but it's more in tune than he's let off. I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron says Lynch had a Viagra joke. He wants people to know that he's a ladies' man. That's right. And then Tammy makes like a face. Mentine Como says she's the jumping gal. Maybe Shelly's the one.
Maybe she is the one.
Oh man. I definitely want to see more of our people.
I know, me too. I don't feel like we had enough time with them. We just had like little tiny inklings, and then we went on to other stuff. And, people we don't even know at the Bang Bang Bar and stuff. I don't know. I just would like to get some more info, solid stuff.
What I'm ready to see, and we kind of got confirmation that this probably is going to happen anyway, is when Harry's brother, when Frank leaves, because he's only like sort of there as a fill-in for now, but when he leaves, Hawk is going to take over as sheriff.
That made me so happy. I love it. I
want to see that.
Yes, me too. I want to see him taking the reins and being the leader that he should be, and I wish that he would have been in the return.
If it comes back, if we don't see him, if we don't see him as sheriff, I'll be
mad.
It's gonna be Chet.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense that Frank was there because he was the sheriff before Harry.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I want Hawk to take the reins because he seems like the natural next sheriff. He's been there this whole time. He's been there through all of the supernatural stuff and all the Black Lodge stuff. And he's so in tune to everything that's going on.
And we still need to find out what that face is. Yes. Which I'm guessing is Judy now.
Mm-hmm.
But it might not be Judy. And what the heck is the black fire?
Yeah. What is that? With the turkey and the corn?
Mm-hmm.
It's all up in there.
Gobble,
Where are my turkeys?
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble.
Just lost like a turkey in the corner.
Have some garmonbozia and evil demon turkey.
What does James say about turkey? Turkey is the dumbest animal on earth or something like that.
I think so.
Cameron says Lucy should be sheriff after part 17. Hawk was in the bathroom and Frank just sat at his desk.
He was on top of it. I was so proud of Lucy in part 17.
That was
awesome.
Before Freddie started playing like punching bag with Bob.
Oh yeah.
That I don't.
I
I
try to
still have
remain
mixed feelings
positive about it, but it's hard.
Yeah, that's gonna be a scene that I just feel about forever.
Yeah. I'll try to justify it for all my days.
All right, George is saying, okay, this is what I could see with the season 4, focusing on Cooper and Laura navigating through the strange world and unraveling how much has changed. You know, yeah, I feel like that's if we're gonna get something, that's what we're gonna see. I feel like what The Return did for Kyle MacLachlan, a season 4 could do the same for Sheryl Lee. If you get what I mean.
Definitely.
Just like sort of launching them back into the stratosphere. Yeah, her name would be the first in the credit, and then Kyle MacLachlan.
She is so talented, and I want her to get all the credit that she deserves. Because she is amazing.
I agree.
Just beyond phenomenal in my eyes.
The way that final scene was acted, oh man.
Just what she can do with her eyes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I had goosebumps just thinking about it.
She's like not there, and then all of a sudden, she does that thing where she just like shocks awake.
Yes.
And like looks down, and then kind of turns around, and we get the scream, and that still gives me chills.
I can't. I just every time so much chills.
I want to see I want to see it led by Sheryl Lee.
I would love it
with Kyle MacLachlan, playing a very strong second.
Mm-hmm.
But I want a Sheryl Lee focus.
Because it's always been Laura Palmer being the focus of behind everything that's going on, and I want to see her out in the open.
Yeah, we got the world where Laura Palmer's dead.
Yes.
Now just imagine the world where Laura Palmer lives.
Like we got that little touch of it where in Fire Walk with Me, and now I really want it. I want the whole thing, the whole shebang. Is
it a hell? Is it a heaven? Is it like a purgatory kind of situation? Because we know Laura was like into the bad stuff, but she was doing that sort of to deal with. I mean, she's a teenager in high school, but she's sort of doing it.
Also like demon possessed.
Yeah, she's trying to like deal with Bob inside, trying to get become her. But we know that from what we see in the finale episode that she's still up to some kind of devious thing, especially with the guy in the chair all bloated and looks like rigor mortis has already settled in, and she's still up to some devious stuff, even as Carrie Page and not Laura Palmer. So it's like
trouble follows her wherever she goes.
Does it follow her, or is she the trouble? Is she like the magnet? Like that, I think that's what we need to figure out. Or is it not that not that binary? Is it not that black and white? Is she capable of like great good and great evil? Like she's yin and yang.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't have any. She's the black and white. There's no gray in between.
It makes sense that she's a one because Judy is pure evil, and if you have this like chaotic force that's like a balance of good and evil, how like that's such a threat. It's like you can't be both. Like how dare you be both? That's not allowed.
No.
I have to be evil. That's it. You can't be both. So
yeah,
it's really interesting. Oh man, let's see what people are saying. Yeah. People are saying yes, more Sheryl Lee. She deserves an Emmy for her screaming ability alone, says Lex Spelloramas.
I agree.
George says goosebumps thinking about the moment before her scream. That moment before the scream is chilling, but the moment when she realizes
which in her eyes
is so striking. I thought Firewalk with Me was already Sheryl Lee's thing, but that's Laura Palmer. That's teenage Laura Palmer. I want adult Laura Palmer, Carrie Page, and find out what has she been up to.
Yes.
And is she a different person, or is can't teach an old dog new tricks kind of thing. Dale and Laura, that's the heart of Twin Peaks.
Yep.
I mean, you could say Dale and Laura may represented different things, but now it seems like they're both.
They finally become like one and the same. They both have.
Like they're just both like this intense darkness and like this great good, like this great and kind of want to do good. I mean, we didn't see Laura do any like fantastic, like she didn't save lives or anything. I mean, she did in a way, but she wasn't like an actual FBI agent.
No, but they each had their big impacts on everyone that they met.
Mm-hmm. The influence of Cooper and Laura are
phenomenal.
Like, oh man. But yeah, we need Sheryl as Carrie Page, adult Laura Palmer.
I'd love it.
Cameron says Lynch owes Sheryl for not working with her after Fire Walk with Me. He gave her close up where she said gobble gobble crying. Moment they should show an acting class on how to kill your Hollywood career. George says Laura Palmer definitely exists in the gray. And I think being in the gray is probably the greatest threat to like an extremist, like evil.
Most definitely.
Like I feel like it would be offended at the existence.
Like, why aren't you all the way this way?
I'm gonna bring in Star Wars for a second because I think that's what we're gonna see in The Last Jedi. I think we're gonna see like not a balance. The Force needs to be balanced. Like the people itself need to know the dark and the light. Just to throw a little Star Wars analogy in there.
I agree with you. That's what I'm thinking is going to go on. But
I think Cooper and Laura are a threat to Judy because they're such a substantial. They're substantially both.
Yes.
They have such negative energy and such positive energy, and then there's this gray area in between.
I think that's what I liked about The Return is that we don't have Cooper up on a pedestal the whole time. I think same with Final Dossier. We show his faults and that he is both and that he, the white knight syndrome.
Yeah,
and his stuff with Linda Merle's wife. Like, he's not totally perfect. He has his faults and he is both.
I mean, yeah. And he's a human being, like David Lynch says in the interview.
Yeah.
He's a human. He's not going to be one or the other. He's not going to be a perfect man. He's not going to, I mean, everybody wants to like help people. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Tammy was a little bitter, I think, in the Final Dossier. White knight syndrome. But I think he was just a guy doing his job to the best of his ability. So
he just wants to save everyone, and it takes a big toll on him.
I think the problem is people see him as a white knight. He doesn't see himself. I think that's a perception of Tammy, of Audrey. I think he liked Annie because she didn't see that in him. She saw the darkness.
Yes.
She didn't see him as a sort of two-dimensional, like just FBI guy that wants to do good and drink coffee and eat cherry pie. I think Annie's, from what we see with their interaction, I think Annie saw the depth and complexity of Cooper. And that's why I like the Annie-Cooper relationship.
Me too.
Mentine Coma, I think the point of making Fire Walk with Me so dark was to show that the people in Twin Peaks had the wrong perception of her. This is a sort of likens to the point I just made about Cooper. It's like it's all about perception, man. It really the whole a lot of the characters in Twin Peaks, especially with Laura Palmer, they're just playing a lot with the idea of how people are perceived versus how they actually are.
Big time.
So it's interesting. This turned into a very interesting psychological thing.
It did.
Mentine Coma said they were blinding themselves to her obvious suffering. I agree. People knew. I think who was it that says it? Bobby I think it was Bobby that said we all killed her. And I think Bobby did understand Laura to an extent.
I think he did. He saw like the struggles, at least, that she went through with her drug addiction and all the demons she had, and just like the suffering that she went through as an addict.
I think
he was there for that.
I think that people don't give Bobby enough. I don't think people give Bobby enough credit in like the brain area. Even Cooper sort of underestimated Bobby,
Yeah.
but I think there's a bit of Garland in him.
I think most definitely.
George says there's so much ground to cover with Carrie discovering her identity as Laura. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole what has she been doing? Why was there a dead guy in her apartment or house?
Yep.
We know that. I mean, I'm led to assume that it just follows her, but
yeah.
Cameron said, I love the scene too, but there's a fine line to not cross it, and Lynch flirted dangerously close to the camp at times for some people. She said Cheryl's mainstream career never truly recovered, so a new season. I agree. I really want to see Sheryl helm a thing on her own. That's not Firewalk with Me. That's, Laura Palmer 25 years later. Carrie Page. Because Laura Palmer, I don't want to say Laura Palmer's dead. She's dead. Laura Palmer's dead, yet she lives because she is Carrie Page.
Dormant, maybe?
I'm starting to think that it's just the idea of Laura Palmer is dead, and now it is Carrie Page.
Could very well be.
Which might be 10 times worse than Laura Palmer.
It's true.
And 10 times better. I don't know.
You'd have all the suppressed Laura Palmer stuff on top of all of the Carrie Page stuff that she's dealing with, and everything just bubbling and coming to the surface, and she's going to blow. Such
a force.
Yes.
She's the one, man.
Yep.
She's the one. George says he's no White Knight. Definitely not.
He wants to be.
Yeah. George says I'm not a fan of that term to begin with. I'm not either.
Yeah.
I feel like I could see places where it can be applicable, but I think it's kind of dismissive of a person's, intent or complexity.
Yep.
Mentine Como says, I think the point of calling him a White Knight is to explain why Laura's case stood out so much for him. Well, yeah, because he went back in time to save a teenage girl. But he's also gifted with information that nobody else has, that she is the one.
Yeah, I mean, if it was some other teenage girl and he hadn't talked to the fireman and knew that Laura was the one, would he be going through all this trouble?
I mean, I'm sure, like, I feel like maybe he would go back and try to help his mom.
Yeah.
Somehow. I feel like there's other people he might have saved before that. Let's see. Cooper's intentions are usually pure and genuine of doing the right thing. I think he's gone through stuff, and maybe he didn't always do the right thing. And after things went down, he made it a very important point to do the right thing from now on. Yeah. No matter what, do the right thing.
I don't think Cooper always does the right thing, but he always has the right intentions.
That's probably a better way to put it. George says what Bobby says at the funeral is so potent and profound and true. Yeah, we all killed her.
Yep.
Amen. Cameron said Sheryl as Dougie.
Is that exactly what you were telling me the other day?
I mean, yeah, just do season 3 exactly, but just reverse the parts. I don't know if that works. I don't think that works, but George says the whole sequence in part 2 with Laura and Cooper in the red room, so many chills. Probably my favorite moment from The Return.
Amazing.
They use those red room scenes so perfectly. They didn't like abuse them in part 3. I think we had just enough red room.
It was perfect.
It wasn't really about that. It was. I mean, they helped Cooper get out and get back, but
yeah,
bigger things at stake.
And still, just that part of Ray Wise, Leland Palmer in the Red Room in season 3 when he's like, "Find Laura," and it just breaks my heart every time. It's such an emotional scene for me.
Yeah, we have one scene with Ray Wise as Leland. Probably one of the few times we see the Leland in his pure form, just almost terrified, and
it's like he doesn't have Bob. This is him worried about his daughter. He came back to the lodge after he died.
It's almost like there's nothing in him. There's nothing left except just he knows Laura.
He just wants to save his daughter. That's all that is left of him.
I mean, her mother's a wreck. Who knows what? We don't know what else in the town is a wreck, or the country, the world. Who knows? This thing is global, as we saw in season 3.
Yeah.
I think that's the point we wanted to make. They wanted to make with all those different locations was that this isn't an isolated Twin Peaks problem. It's a global problem.
Happening everywhere.
And it's possible that Laura Palmer being killed by Bob sent ripples through everything.
This lodge is seeping into
it's the poison
everywhere.
Poisoning the well. But
this is the water, this is the well.
But then if we see a world where Laura Palmer doesn't die, what does that look like? What is that butterfly effect?
Is everything just fine and dandy now? Like what is going on?
I mean, we don't. We don't think it. Maybe in Twin Peaks, it's a little bit better. Better.
I mean, Ed and Norma are together, from what we know, and I don't know. Things are maybe a little bit better. Sun is shining.
It definitely throws a lot off.
Yeah.
Because it's like Bob is getting so close to occupying Laura or trying to, and then all of a sudden she disappears and he can't even understand it. And then Leland, awesome. So it's a world that it's just so meaty. You could go on forever.
You could.
Cameron says, well, he wouldn't have been trapped if she hadn't died. True, that sets up that paradox thing. Which is maybe why he's Richard?
Could be. Becomes something else.
Huh. I got a thought, but I don't know if it makes any sense. Maybe he becomes Richard because Richard is investigating Carrie Page or something he's investigating something, becomes Richard, but Cooper fuses in with Richard, so he still has the memories of Laura Palmer, but Richard was already in pursuit for a different reason. It's my brain is getting fuzzy.
And that's why he's just so already as he's becoming Richard, he's still so gung-ho FBI agent. He doesn't lose his identity because maybe Cooper and Richard are kind of similar. So it's easier for him to still be Cooper while he's also Richard because they're similar.
I mean, he hasn't converted completely to Richard. So you have the paradox Cooper going from the past. But that doesn't make sense. Why is he does he change his name to Richard after at some point? It doesn't really make sense. I don't know. That was just a thought, but I mean he might change his name to Richard. Dale, what's Dale's middle name? Maybe he starts going by Richard at some point.
Yeah.
Kai says, I think the idea of him being a knight is the theme the show runs with, like the wizards, good and bad. It's very mythology, fable-based. We know that now. Frost confirmed. A lot of season 3 was based on the Odyssey.
Yep.
So...
Guess who called that?
Yeah, you definitely called that. With the Orpheus.
Yes. And Odyssey and Odessa.
Cooper early in the series says one-armed man is like a shaman. Cameron says Ray Wise was criminally underused.
Most definitely. I very much agree.
I mean, I can never get enough Ray Wise.
No, I love him. I want him in so much more of Twin Peaks. And in so much more of just everything else. Just give me all the Ray Wise.
I saw him on Fresh Off the Boat the other day, and I was like, oh.
So good.
It's funny how a lot of these old Twin Peaks people went and did sitcoms. They're so funny.
Yes.
And then you do Twin Peaks, and it's like their peak everything.
Yes.
Because, I mean, Ray Wise was funny as Leland Bob when he's dancing and stuff and being a little wacky. But
yeah. He's got the dramatic and the comedy and just all rolled up into one just talented man.
Maybe we should make season 4 focused on Leland.
I'd watch it.
I mean, yeah, so would I.
I would watch anything, honestly.
That's the thing.
It's like anything they put out Twin Peaks, I'll be like, yes, I'm here.
That's the state of things right now. Mentine Como says, I don't think Laura is the one necessarily means Cooper had to go back and save her. Frost has implied Cooper actually doesn't understand as much as he thinks. I get that.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think the ending kind of, shows that. Yeah. He's like, what year is it?
Yeah. I think that also the going back and forth between timelines and going and talking to the firemen and coming back, I think that it's probably messed with his memory as much, and he probably doesn't remember everything that the fireman has told him, and he goes out on these missions doing stuff, and he forgets what he's doing. Maybe just things become fuzzy as he travels back and forth, and he kind of loses.
He's starting to become like Jeffries. Yep. I mean, he was in the Black Lodge for 25 human Earth years.
Yep. Time is slippery.
I mean, Jeffries needed him to be specific because it's just a blur. He needs to hone in on something. It's so muddy. It's so hard to break it down.
It is.
Because there's enough, but there's not enough yet. George Ray says Ray Wise was interviewed by Blue Rose magazine for their upcoming issue. Maybe they'll touch on his appearance in season 3. I'll have to pick up that issue. I love that. I'm not subscribed, but I've been buying them issue to issue.
I love just how invested Ray Wise is in Twin Peaks and in the community on Twitter. And he's always just so there for us and
It almost makes me mad at David Lynch that he didn't include him more. It's why?
He's so into it and so kind to the fans, and I love him.
I get that he probably wasn't integral to this story, but
yeah,
there's things that they could have gotten him to do. There's always something. You had a guy, like Cameron said, you had a guy sweeping. You could have put a Chet Desmond
for a whole
name drop again, and there you could have put another Ray Wise scene. Yeah. Him you could put him sweeping the Black Lodge. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be kind of, for an actor like him, that might be a little demeaning or something. But
he'd probably dig it. He'd probably be like, yes, I'm in here for Twin Peaks. Yes.
Just something. I hope if there's more, they get him on board and give him a story.
I hope so too.
I mean, I guess they can't now because, by Mark Frost canon, he's dead.
Oh, that's true, because the timeline switched.
And he killed himself. Oh, God. That made me very sad. I mean, they could always reverse it.
That's true.
They're playing with time now. So.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, we have to go back and save Leland. Let's just destroy the fabric of reality to save the Palmer family.
Exactly.
Let's see. George says, I don't know. Twin Peaks seemed like a ghost town when they were driving through night in part 18. I mean, it was probably the middle of the night. And I don't think Twin Peaks is a party city. But then again, like maybe it would have. We don't know what time it is exactly. So who knows?
It was just off hours.
George says he became Richard and Diane became Linda when they went through the electricity time or whatever you call it. And we're slowly losing their former identities. Yeah. But the thing is, wouldn't they have been Diane and Richard before the timeline change? Or is the effect of changing time so much that at points they would have changed their names completely? Maybe for anonymity or something. Maybe they do something. Maybe they're criminals in this world. Maybe they like go rogue or something. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just change their names. Maybe they are still Dale and Diane, but they're like on the run, so they call themselves Richard and Diane.
Could very well be.
I mean, it might not be something so like I've kind of stopped getting too convoluted with these theories because sometimes they're a lot simpler than I think, but you know, it could really be anything. Names are very fickle things.
Yep.
DJ.
Yep. Joey. That's your nickname in itself.
That's pretty much the only nickname I ever. And I go by it. It became. Where was I? Thanks for the comments, guys. By the way, these are good stuff here.
A+.
Richard's more of a stem. Oh, I thought it said stem, and I thought evolution of the arm. It's George said Richard is more of a stern Cooper, but he doesn't know or notice that he's changed. Really compelling stuff. Yeah, it's like it's almost like he's going through like a weird time travel puberty. He's getting moodier. He's kind of maybe his memory's going a little bit. He's not as Cooper was like stiff but cool, but with Richard we had a lot of like being hunched over a little bit. Like when he says what year is it, he's kind of just like
wait, what?
He's not like, the confidence is gone. Yes. Even when he was in the diner, he was sort of like he wasn't Cooper where it's just like maybe he would have been just very like confident and stern in a different way about it. But this guy is stern and like sort of like a kind of a cowboy. I don't know. Not in a very confident way. It's kind of like a nervous but he still kicks ass. You know that because he got those.
You put those guns in the fryer.
I'm gonna say cowboys for a lack of a better word. But we could dissect those Richard scenes like crazy. I'm sure.
Definitely.
And good on Kyle MacLachlan for doing such a good job.
Yeah.
Cameron says Dale Dick Cooper. Dale Dick. DDC. DRC. I wonder what Diane's last name is. Do we know Diane's last name?
I don't think so. I think she's always just Diane. I don't know. I might have to go read through the books again, but I don't think they ever say it in the show. Do they?
Because it would be. I mean, there's we have Tremont and Chalfont, but I don't think Diane would be either of those. But those are just last names that are kind of lingering in the air. Oh, they're saying Evans, Diane Evans. Okay. Oh, that's right.
Oh, jeez, I knew that. I
knew that too. I totally spaced.
Dumb. I knew it.
They're saying Ray Wise is great on Tim and Eric. Yes. Ray Wise is hysterical. But
he's so good.
He has fantastic range.
I just love him in this specific season of Fresh Off the Boat. He is doing a fabulous job. I'm very impressed with him.
I haven't seen too many episodes this season, but I believe it. I have no doubts in my mind.
I really like where they're going this season. It's been really good.
Is he heavy this season?
There's been a few very Ray Wise heavy episodes with him and the girl who plays his daughter.
Okay.
And it's been kind of deep. It's been good.
At least I'm just glad he's doing something.
Yeah. I'll watch him in anything.
Staying fresh. Cameron says Ray Wise could have been like the one-armed man and helped Dougie wake up. Ray Wise sweeping the hair from the Black Lodge beauty salon. Laura's hair gets curly in Fire Walk With Me, and then short length in season 3.
That's true.
And then Mentine Coma says Audrey's the Black Lodge's hairdresser.
That's where she is.
Oh, God.
I mean, yeah.
George says when they were driving, Cooper said it could all be different.
Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of it was, except Gordon will remember.
Yep.
See this, it sets up so much for season 4. There's just like these things that happen in the finale, besides the actual ending itself. You could say that's a stern ending. That's that's the end. But there's just like so many things that like
there's little loose ends that
Gordon can remember, and then we're not going to talk about Gordon. We're not going to talk about Gordon at all.
No.
Cameron wants to talk about Sheryl Lee's hair. She says Sheryl at the end of Fire Walk With Me has the greatest curls. I actually want like a poster. If I could have a poster of like that scene where she's just like Cooper has his arm on like her like his hand on her shoulder. I kind of just want that as like a really nice crisp poster.
Gorgeous. She has that beautiful hair and her makeup is just like beautiful, and she has that look on her face, and
An
it's
angel.
Such a beautiful moment.
Oh my God. I want season 4 to be led by Sheryl. I love Kyle MacLachlan to death. I mean, I met him. He was like a ray of sunshine.
It's Cheryl's turn.
In the interview, David Lynch talks about how Kyle was like he seemed genuinely happy, and like when I met him, you could feel it off of him. I don't know. This is the first time I met him, but he seemed like just like happy to meet everybody. He was just having a good time. But I do want to see Sheryl lead in a leading role.
I'd love it.
Like they could do it together. They could be co-lead.
Yeah. I want to see them be in a little team. Like how amazing would that be with those two like powerhouse actors coming together to make a season? Jeez.
And I think with Carrie Page, I think we have to get over Laura Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
Laura Palmer doesn't exist anymore. Carrie Page, she's the final page, or mini.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be wild to find out that Carrie Page had children?
Ooh.
That's just a whole other can of worms. But like she disappears when she's young, and God knows what. This is exciting. I really hope if David Lynch can't find a story where Carrie Page, Sheryl Lee is the lead, if you can't find that story, I become a little I'll take a step back and give him a side eye. Because I think
David, come on.
There's so much they set up so much. They gave themselves so much room to work with. So much. They even pretty much erased the continuity of everything we saw.
Yeah. They just have a clean slate where they could do whatever they want right now.
Like why would they clean
so creatively open and exciting?
Like why would you clean house like that without
having plans,
wanting to do something with it? And he always kept saying he likes a continuing story. I mean, season 1 might become canon again. They might have to kill Laura Palmer anyway.
Yeah.
It might be something that has to happen for an ultimate good to eventually happen, or for there to be ultimate balance. Because, like, I don't know. There's bigger philosophical ideologies that you could bring in to the fold. But right now, Cooper and mostly Laura are a threat to evil itself, or the evil couple, rather. Because we know in the final dossier, we know we can't get Judy together with Beelzebub or Satan. So it's like this really interesting. You're gonna have to get a bigger power couple than Satan and Judy.
Yeah.
It's so weird. That's so weird to say.
Satan and Judy, Cooper and Laura / Carrie.
Richard and Linda, or Richard and Carrie. Everybody has new names in this new world. New world, new names.
It's all new. I mean, David Lynch is a painter, and he just created a whole new blank slate. He's got to paint that for us. You can't just have a whole blank canvas there. Come on.
You know, it would be wild if it comes back and it's not called Twin Peaks because Twin Peaks got a name change. It's called like Ghostwood something. I don't like. The town just got a name change. Like,
just has a new name.
Yeah. Like maybe somebody bought like a ton of real estate in Twin Peaks and they decided to change the name to maybe like Horn Acres or something.
Or maybe in this universe, the Martells were the ones who came out on top instead. So it's like,
oh man,
Martell Mountain. And Pete is like the mayor.
Oh my god. That'd be. Can we just bring back Nance to get? Can we
please just bring Jack Nance back from the dead, please?
Just imagine Pete as the mayor. Now we're going on to very fan fiction territory.
We really are.
Pete, that's like an Adult Swim show. Pete as the mayor. That sounds like an Adult Swim show.
I would love it.
Well, there's a show about going to the mayor, right? Something goes to the mayor. I don't remember. I think there's a show called that. Kai says Ghostwood Adventures and Other Tales. I mean, but I could see that happening. Like maybe the impact of Laura Palmer, Laura Palmer's disappearance, and the whole thing with Ronette and Teresa Banks showing up elsewhere. Like maybe it just causes Twin Peaks to be like, okay, we need to reset. We need to change. Like nobody's going to want to deal with Twin Peaks with all this bad, press. So let's change the name. That would be wild. That's just like sort of a far-flung thing.
Be nuts.
But I feel like I could see that happening. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Oh, George says Tom goes to the mayor. That's what I was thinking of. That's nuts if the show comes back with a different name.
That would be crazy.
I mean, it would probably be called Odessa. No, it wouldn't be called Odessa because we're back in Twin Peaks.
Be like something about leaving Odessa. Like,
I'm wondering if they don't go down the road with the sign, do they? In the finale, do they go down that road?
I don't think
the population, the entering Twin Peaks sign.
I don't think so.
Because if they do, I don't know. I must have missed it. But if they did, then maybe the sign wasn't there, and it's interesting. Now I have to go back and check.
Yeah, yes.
Because if they go down that road and the entrance, I don't know if they do, but if they do, and that sign isn't there, that's going to be very interesting.
Yes, because they could just be in a whole different realm of.
I mean, even Twin Peaks, Twin Peaks doesn't exist. It's something else now.
Yeah. It's not the whole, maybe it's not the supernatural hubbub that it was. And
Mentine says we don't see the sign.
Okay.
But I don't know. Do they go down that same road? I don't think they do. But now I'm curious. Now I'm starting a conspiracy. Well, the Blu-ray comes out
because we knew it
in 2 weeks. That's cool. All right, guys. If you guys do you have any other things to add, Danielle? Deej?
I don't think so. I think I
went
want to see more Ray Wise. I want to see Chet Desmond. I want to see more of the people in the town. See what happens. And more Sheryl. That is my wish list.
Yes, Sheryl is at the top of that wish list next to Ray Wise in some capacity, and then Chet.
It's my top 3.
Everybody else. Hawk is sheriff.
Oh yes, Hawk is sheriff.
That we know that's probably what would happen.
And I want Bobby to be happy.
Little end note. I want Bobby to be happy. I want his happy. He deserves to be happy.
I want him to have a happy ending.
And Shelly, it could be with Bobby, but we need Shelly to shape up. Yeah. Shape up, Shelly.
I want her to be a strong, independent woman.
Yeah. I mean,
we don't need no man and then can choose the right man.
Yes. Stop choosing wackos. Well, she chose Leo in the first place because
she had a weird household.
Well, that and Bobby was kind of screwing around with Laura, and she got it was a mess. But maybe if Laura gets taken away, Bobby, I guess she's still with Leo, but oh well. Maybe Leo's not dead.
Leo
wouldn't be dead because he wouldn't be with Wendell Merle. Oh man. That's a Twin Peaks where Leo Johnson is still alive. And probably Hank as well.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, man. So what
maybe
pretty much everybody that's still alive can come back.
Yeah.
Kai says Bobby should go on trial for murdering that guy in 89. Maybe that happens because, they in the finale, they put in that scene from Fire Walk With Me where he says, where Laura says Bobby killed a guy.
Yeah.
And James goes, "What? Bobby didn't kill anybody."
Yes. I've always wondered about that. Like, was that real? Was that something happening in their mind? Like, what? I don't know.
Interesting.
And then with the new season, I'm like, wow, Bobby is a policeman and he maybe killed a guy. That's interesting.
It was glossed. It was ignored because of Laura Palmer's death. So let's see. George says it would have been a cool shot of Cooper and Laura past. I've just butchered your comment, but he's basically saying it would have been a cool shot to see Cooper and Laura pass the sign.
That would have been cool.
I mean, yeah, that would have been very iconic.
But maybe they're not really into it.
The fact that they went back to and didn't show the sign, because when Cooper comes back after he wakes up, don't they go down that road with the sign? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when they enter, almost any time he enters Twin Peaks, they show the sign.
I don't think when he's like Cooper / Richard, he doesn't go past the sign. So I wonder if Twin Peaks, as we know it, does not exist in this universe with Richard. And maybe it's not Twin Peaks. Maybe it has a different name. Maybe the mountains have some mystical powers because we know that that's where all those cave drawings are and all the things.
And the aliens went.
Yeah, so maybe there's not aliens in this universe. So maybe there just aren't even the Twin Peaks. Maybe the mountains aren't there.
George Ray says they do go down the road and pass the sign. You're talking about when you're talking about when he wakes up, right? Just to get some clarification, not when Carrie.
We're talking about Richard and Carrie.
Yeah. I think he means when Cooper wakes up, but that's
when he's like, "Is the coffee on?"
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the only time we see them pass the sign, and then when they go back in,
when it's all bleak,
we don't see the sign. I'm trying to bring it up on my phone real quick just to double check. I don't know if I'll be able to pinpoint that exact scene, but wow. This is see the little thing still figuring
Just
it
the
out.
little details, and I end up blowing them out of proportion and blowing my mind.
And it's been over for almost 4 months now. That's sick.
Yep. I think it will just continually blow our minds forever.
Well, now I'm looking it up, and excuse me, guys, while I'm doing this, because I'm gonna try to. I have the Showtime Anytime app on my phone, so I'm gonna try to skip right to that scene and look it up in real time.
Do it.
Because I'm so curious. Because I feel like that's a big deal if they don't go past that sign.
I know. I wonder if Twin Peaks, as we know it, just doesn't even exist. It's not even Twin Peaks anymore. Maybe it has a different name.
Maybe, yeah.
Different people, different energy.
Well, we know they're in the same physical location.
Physical location, like same coordinates.
Same coordinates.
Yes.
Yeah, why doesn't anybody ever just tell the doppelganger that it's Twin Peaks? They give him coordinates.
They give him coordinates, not like the name of a town. So maybe that spot is significant in different dimensions and universes.
Oh my god. George in the chat is saying, I would try, but I just canceled my Showtime subscription today. I hope I don't regret it.
Damn.
I got it free for 2 years, so I'm good for
You're set.
a couple more months. Because I think the first year was last year.
Yeah, I gotta keep it. I gotta watch Shameless.
You get a POV of them passing the sign in part 17. Damn.
We were on such a roll.
Well, hold on. This isn't gonna be good for watching after the fact. Like anybody watching this after the stream, is not gonna enjoy the part where I look this up. But this is interesting
it's exciting moment.
This is funny. We're breaking stuff down.
Yeah.
Showtime Anytime. There we go.
Got it.
It wasn't working on my phone, so I'm just gonna bring it up here. Series Twin Peaks. We're gonna go to part 18. I'll try to lower. Oh, I'll have to log in some. I haven't been on in a while. Oh yikes. This is like a little bit of detective work.
Yeah.
So they're saying it's there in part 17. When they. All right, so here's the part where they're driving. I don't know how long I should keep this on. All right, they're driving. It's quiet. There's a gas station. Driving darkness. Cooper's looking all. This is so weird. I would show it to you guys, but I'll probably definitely get flagged. It'll make me take it down, and I think this is a good video, so I'm not gonna do that. George is saying not in part 18, only in part 17. I don't know, that's super interesting to me that they don't pass the sign.
I don't think it's Twin Peaks anymore.
They cross the bridge. That's the first time. That's when you see them enter Twin Peaks. They cross the bridge that Ronette walks on.
Yes.
And that's it. Then we're in Twin Peaks. Wow. And then we're at the double R. Wow. Yeah. It's not in part 18. Yeah.
I think that the Twin Peaks, like the actual mountains, have like mystical energy and powers to them, and they do not exist in this universe.
They live in a bubble.
So how can you name a town Twin Peaks when the mountains aren't even there?
We don't see the mountains, right? Ever.
So I don't know. That's just maybe
we hear about the mountains.
Something I'm toying with.
Carolina says, "You think Cooper would notice if there was no sign for Twin Peaks before getting there? He would have said
That's true.
George is saying that's why I think Twin Peaks is more of a desolate ghost town in this reality.
Yeah,
I think we
sense.
just like figured we kind of caught something there that I hadn't thought about before. This is why we do these videos, guys.
We realize in the moment.
So when Cooper goes back into Twin Peaks, he doesn't see the sign. He just crosses the Ronette Bridge and then turns into the Double R Street. Oh my God. How did we get here?
Man.
So maybe it's not Twin Peaks anymore.
I don't think so. It's something completely different, I feel like.
I mean, the suburbs, damn. We go to the Chalfonts house, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Imagine Chalfonts are the only people that live there. I mean, there's cars on the block, but
you just go to every house and the Chalfont opens the door.
Yeah, well, they know nobody else lives in this area anymore, and you go to that one house with people like, oh God. Kai says Twin Peaks is a bubble. They go into similar world to ours in part 18. Could even be our dimension. That goes back to a couple theories people had previously. I know we talked about them like entering our world more or less, and leaving the TV world of Twin Peaks, which would explain the Freddy scene more.
Yeah.
We live inside a dream, and we have like these wacky little scenarios that are supernatural, but you enter our world and things are more seated in
yes, it's more stark.
Reality. Yeah.
Could be. I've toyed with that idea too.
George Ray is saying it's Northwest Passage. I mean, that was the original name of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I think it's Twin Peaks, just not the Twin Peaks that we know. Yeah, that's probably more. I can't see them getting way too. I don't know what the word for it is. It's not meta. I guess it's meta, but George says I can't get behind that theory. It's probably just a different name, at least maybe. Now, I don't know, but
different name. I think it's different energy about the town.
It's just different. It's just not Twin Peaks that we know. It's not season 1, season 2.
We don't have our quirky characters that we love, and it doesn't have that kind of more lighthearted feel to it anymore. Maybe it's much darker, starker place.
Yeah, nobody's life is the same. Maybe Andy and Lucy are together. I could see that.
Maybe. Yeah.
Menting Coma once says, I hope we get more Wilson in season 3. Those Wilson scenes cracked me the hell up.
I love
just
it.
Yelling at Oh my God. All right, guys. This was a lot of fun. I think at the end here, we got to a very interesting place. So that was cool. There was a resolution sort of here. Yes. Twin Peaks outside the city limits says, any idea which year it might be in the version of Twin Peaks? I think it's either 2016 or 2017, judging by the technology. It's not.
That's about what I feel too.
I mean, it's not. I think Cooper's asking the wrong question.
I don't think it matters what year it is.
Yeah, at this point, why are you worried about the year, man? You just went through time. Like, I know you're trying to why are you trying to pinpoint this certain time? Are you trying to get to where you left? Did he not think it was going to change? I mean, he knows it's not going to change. He says it could all be different. Then we get there, and he's like, what year is it?
I'm like, yeah, well, it's already different. You knew it was going to be.
That's the last thing he says in the show. So is he just forgetting? Is he like an old senile man? What year is it? Ugh.
Could be he's gone through time so much and gone through all these different dimensions and spiritual realities that he's having a hard time keeping track of where he is.
I don't know.
And there's the fact that he's taking on the persona of Richard at the same time too, and he's just kind of becoming foggy, I feel like.
Maybe the whole Chalfont thing triggered like a complete wash or
Could
melt.
be.
I don't know. George is saying, it's weird because one of the few times Cooper seems unsure of himself, and the inflection of how he asked the question, what year is it? Like, it's almost like a little bit of panic. It's interesting because that's the last thing we hear Cooper say, but because what
I
year
feel
is
that panic too when I watch it. He's scared.
it? Yeah,
I think that's the first time we actually see Cooper fully scared.
I think he's freaked out from the moment he wakes up and he has a letter and Diane isn't there, which I guess the plan was for them to do it together. And a couple hours after they started, Diane's gone. She leaves a letter. She leaves a letter saying that they're with these two different names, and then he leaves, and the hotel is like everything is different. So, which I think isn't that he'd like teleport. I think that was just things catching up. Laura Palmer being saved there somehow in the butterfly effect doesn't make the hotel he was staying in. It changes something about it. And it changes like George is saying, I don't recognize you anymore, is what Diane writes in the thing. It's just there's a lot of that sort of, it's like, what would Back to the Future have been if it was dark?
Yeah.
What would that effect have been? I mean, not Back to the Future like 2, because that was kind of dark, but not dark because you always felt like they were going to save the day at the end of Back to the Future, but with this, you don't know. You have your main lead, the person that people love is just like lost as you are. So it leaves a lot on the table.
It does.
All right, guys, I need to get to bed because I have to cook a turkey in a couple hours. But Friday, I'm going to be doing sort of a fun little capitalistic Black Friday thing. I'm going to do like sort of a best Twin Peaks like gifts for Twin Peaks fans, like stuff you could find on the internet that maybe you might know about, maybe you want to get somebody, something like that. I feel like that's a cool thing to do pre-Christmas. And Danielle might join depending on what's happening. But thanks, Danielle, as always, for joining.
Glad to be here.
It won't be the last time, I'm sure. Thank you to everybody watching live and submitting your comments and questions. They helped make this thing a lot more expansive than I had originally planned. This was going to be a fun video about like what do we want in Twin Peaks season 4, and then it became this.
And now we'll send our wish list to Mark Frost for Christmas and tell him he's our Santa, and this is exactly what we want.
Pretty much, this is what we want for season 4, Mark Frost. Make it happen. But yes, thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits, for subscribing. Appreciate that. And we'll catch you guys very soon, Friday, most likely. Thanks, George, for submitting all your comments. Menzin Coma, like all you guys, thanks. This was a really great video. 2 great Twin Peaks videos in one day. And within minutes of each other. This is nuts. And there's no new content besides that one interview. All right, guys. If you haven't subscribed, do that. And I shall see you very soon. See you later.